For questions of faith, no proof has ever mattered. For questions of religion, no evidence is ever enough. This is perpetuating the mentality of the enslaver, which comes down to this. The word of no black person is worth the word of a white person. The value of no black person is worth the value of a white person. That's what this is. All kinds of oral history, the word of black people, that this is in fact the case. But however, the word of a couple of white people matters a whole lot more. How does that actually work in people's minds today? Now, we can in fact value these things equally and then require, in fact, evidence, implied by the interesting use of disproven here. We can take the oral history of Madison Hemings, and then we can add on to that evidence produced by historical method to corroborate as much of that oral history as possible. And then we can layer on top of that DNA evidence through a rare haplogroup that only males in the Jefferson line possess, conducted by 3 separate laboratories, all under blind conditions, meaning they had no idea what they were testing and for whom, all achieving the same result: that Eston Hemings, the brother of Madison Hemings, could only have been the son of a male Jefferson, and the only male Jefferson that was at all remotely possible a candidate was Thomas Jefferson. Might have been his brother. Not quite so sure, Sean, whatever your name is, that you know how this works. Maybe you don't. You have to kind of be there to conceive. Randolph Jefferson's brother was never there. So in terms of the evidence we have, not possible. Only Thomas Jefferson is the only candidate. And now, because of the genetic gains by for-profit companies such as Ancestry and 23andMe, we've corroborated that the descendants of Madison Hemings. We have a lot of people getting tested for this stuff. This stuff gets more proven almost literally every single day by the science, by all kinds of other DNA. So we have the ostensibly objective evidence provided by science. One would think irrefutable. And as the article was published in Nature in 1998, to a 99% certainty. Plus the historical evidence, the historical method that corroborates the oral history of Madison Hemings, which corroborates the contemporary evidence of what people said at the time. So you have contemporary evidence about what people around Jefferson are saying. You have the oral history of Madison Hemings. You have the historical evidence provided by the historical method of historians such as Annette Gordon-Reed. And you have the science that clearly finds that Thomas Jefferson was with a 99% certainty the father of the direct ancestor of Eston Hemings. Okay, but this just comes down to one thing. What is the value of the word of a black person over the value of the word of a white person? Why continue to argue this? Because there's a lot of intellectual, maybe that's overstating it, a lot of mental circumlocutions that you have to go through to persist in this, which is the dream, the fantasy land of the far right that must keep their heroes pure, and therefore keeping their words pure. Because what's the word of a black person against the word of a, and I bet you I haven't looked at his profile. I tend not to for these kind of things. Just before I block them, I bet you this guy is of that particular demographic. The Church of Thomas Jefferson. Nunc Dimittis.